The Chicago White Sox beat the Detroit Tigers 5-1 on Tuesday night. Dylan Cease didn't have his best stuff, but he got the job done, and he is now 10-0 against the Tigers. The White Sox are finding some consistency at the top of their lineup. It was their sixth straight game with five or more runs. Andrew Vaughn had 4 hits and was on base 5 times. The White Sox looked to sweep the Tigers on Wednesday afternoon as they inch closer to 500.
You are Locked On White Sox, your daily Chicago White Sox podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey, Sox fans, welcome to Locked On White Sox. Thank you for making Locked On White Sox your first listen each and every day. We're free and available on all platforms. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Locked On Sox. Also, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Just search Locked On White Sox. Hey, I'm your host, Nick Morawski, a lifelong diehard Chicago White Sox fan, recording this podcast just blocks from the ballpark in beautiful Bridgeport. You can find me on Twitter at Nick_GGTB. Really appreciate you letting me steal some of your time to talk White Sox. Locked On White Sox is part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. The Sox go for the sweep in Detroit. White Sox pitching was fantastic on Tuesday night and lots of offense once again. But first, tons happening before the game that we're going to have to get to. Hey, state of the Sox, your White Sox, my White Sox, 29-31. Still chasing, of course, the Twins in the AL Central. Before the game, Tony La Russa said that Vince Velasquez was retroactively placed on the injured list back on May 31st with a groin strain. He most likely will be Wednesday's starter. Michael Kopech will throw a bullpen session later this week, and the team will determine if he'll be available this weekend in Houston against the Astros, according to La Russa. And Tim Anderson began his rehab start in Charlotte on Tuesday night. He had a few hits as the DH. He's talking about maybe being back on Monday. We'll see what happens if he plays a little shortstop soon, how the body feels. White Sox reinstated Joe Kelly, recalled Davis Martin, and optioned Bennett Sousa to Charlotte. The big news was White Sox placing Liam Hendriks on the 15-day IL with a right forearm strain. Rick Hahn spoke to some reporters before the game, mentioned that maybe it could be 3 weeks. Hopefully that's it. You know, there's a lot of crazy rumors flying around like, oh, this might be just the beginning before Tommy John surgery. I'm going to take Rick Hahn at his word, although Monday we were hearing Liam Hendriks was playing catch and that he should be available Tuesday. And now here he is on the 15-day IL with right forearm strain. Hopefully it is 3 weeks. Get him back very soon and healthy. Tony La Russa mentioned that Jimmy Lambert would be an option for the 9th inning on Tuesday, but that it will be Kelly Graveman primarily for the time being, I guess, to close out games perhaps. Graveman probably not available for a back-to-back outing. You did not see him Tuesday night. There was no mention of Ronaldo Lopez during Tony La Russa's pregame conversations. Heading into Tuesday night's game, White Sox offense, last 5 games, they have been doing well. Runs per game, 8.2. Their batting average, 303. Hits per game, averaging 11.8. Extra base hits, 16. Walks, 22. Slugging percentage, 446. And runners in scoring position, the Sox are 22 through 53. So some good stuff for Sox offense lately. And when you're thinking about the last 5 games, the top 4 in the order has been the same now for 5 games. I don't know if you've paid attention to that, but something that we've been talking about as Sox fans is consistency. When is this lineup going to start looking kind of consistent, almost a plug and chug? Just set it and forget it. Just copy it and put it out there every single day. And what you're seeing lately is AJ Pollock at the top, Andrew Vaughn in the 2 spot, Luis Robert hitting 3rd, and Jose Abreu 4th. The rest has shuffled a little bit with Jake Berger, getting hit on the hand on Monday. He wasn't in the lineup. Lurie Garcia has floated around, from the 8th spot, 7th, in the 6th spot as well. You see Moncada fluctuating all over the place, but really paying attention to those top 4. They haven't moved for 5 games now. Pollock, Vaughn, Robert, and Abreu. And it was really interesting to see what those guys did in Tuesday night's game. A lot of offense out of those top 4 guys. We're going to talk in a little bit about Abreu specifically. He had a monster game on Monday. It's June, weather's starting to heat up all over the country, and that is typically when, Abreu, those offensive numbers start creeping up. It's just good to see some consistency. I think there's something to the fact of guys knowing when they're going to hit. They show up to the ballpark. They have a sense of, what their focus is going to be, because they know that, whether it's Pollock, it's like, okay, I want to get on base. I want to get the line moving. This is how I'm going to approach this pitcher, not do too much, or this is where I think I can beat a guy. This is what I think they're going to do to me. And Vaughn is saying, okay, I'm hitting right after Pollock, and what kind of pitches am I going to see? And boy, he had a great game on Tuesday, which we're going to talk about. And Robert, who's starting to swing the bat, okay, I've got Vaughn in front of me, Pollock in front of Vaughn. And then of course, Abreu brings up the 4th spot. And we know what he can do and has been doing lately, especially the last 25 games, which we're going to talk about. So it's just been a matter of consistency, and the amount of runs that the Sox have been scoring and the hits that they've been getting, and you wanted to see a few more wins here and there, and we got a 2-game winning streak now. Again, it's against the Tigers, but look, when people were talking about, hey, the Sox have the easiest schedule remaining throughout the rest of the season, after we had that Dodgers series, you heard a lot of people be like, okay, well, it's easy now. We've got a lot of games against the Tigers coming up, and we got to beat the AL Central, especially if we want to claw back and take over the Twins. So you beat the teams that you need to beat, and then you're competitive against the teams that are going to give you a tough time. So it's been nice to see the top 4 kind of stay consistent. Jose Abreu, he's been in that 4th spot. He didn't have a great game on Tuesday night. But the last 25 games have been impressive. Sox offense really getting into a groove. I'm going to tell you once again why consistency has mattered. More on that in a moment. Whether you're ready to pop the question or you're celebrating a milestone moment, find jewelry as unique as her with the modern convenience of online shopping at BlueNile.com. Blue Nile has simple online tools that let you choose the diamond shape, size, and clarity, as well as setting style. Blue Nile's bench jewelers will then handcraft her perfect engagement ring. Each ring is one of a kind. Looking for fine jewelry but having trouble choosing? Blue Nile has jewelry experts on hand 24/7, available via phone or chat to help you find a memorable gift at every budget. Make your moments sparkle with jewelry from BlueNile.com. And Locked On Sports listeners get $50 off purchases of $500 or more. This podcast exclusive includes engagement. Use code Locked On. That's code Locked On. Plus, every order is insured, ships free, and arrives in discreet packaging that won't give away what's inside. Shop stress-free and find your forever piece. Go to BlueNile.com today. Hey, the ultimate NBA mock draft starts June 16th. With over 50 insiders, nothing equals the ultimate NBA mock draft. the Locked On NBA Big Board Draft experts, plus the Odyssey insiders. First pick is June 16th. Search Ultimate NBA Mock Draft and follow now so you don't miss a pick. Okay, so I was mentioning, Jose Abreu. You've seen probably these numbers, and if you've been following the Sox for any length of time, especially during Jose Abreu's tenure, he starts heating up when the weather gets warm. The last 25 games for Abreu, he's slashing 344, 465, and 613 with 6 home runs, 16 RBIs, and 19 walks. So the weather heats up, so does Abreu. The walk rate has been a career high, and his chase rate a career low. They mentioned that on NBC Sports Chicago in the pregame. Interesting and good stuff to hear, especially as the Sox hopefully can tear off, 4 or 5, maybe 6 games in a row here. Sox offense started out in the first inning with bases loaded and had Garcia up, but he struck out, and the Sox walk away empty-handed. Sox are now 7 for 42 with 16 strikeouts with the bases loaded. That is something that has to drastically improve. But the Sox didn't waste too much time. In the second inning, got some 2-out offense, which was a bit of a theme. Danny Mendick with a base hit, followed by an A.J. Pollock base hit. Then Vaughn up, sneaks a hit past the first baseman. Mendick scored, making it 1-1 at that time. Nice to see some 2-out offense. I think that is very important for a team to start getting hot. Robert keeps things going with a base hit, drives in Pollock, 4 straight hits, and the White Sox lead 2-1. Let's go to the fourth inning. Sox get into Detroit's bullpen. Andrew Vaughn led off with a hit, his third of the night at that point. Robert gets hit by a pitch, 2 on, nobody out. Abreu strikes out, but Moncada, boy, have we been waiting for this. Yohan Moncada with an RBI double, 7th RBI of the year, his first extra base hit since late May. Garcia keeps things going with a sac fly. It's 4-1 White Sox. Let's go to the 6th inning. A 2-out rocket off the left field wall from A.J. Pollock, and a brilliant slide into second base. If you did not see this slide from A.J. Pollock, it was a work of art. He was diving in head first, and he had that left arm extended, and then he pulled the left arm back and reached for the bag with his right arm, and he avoided the tag. It was great. Andrew Vaughn with his 4th hit of the night. Runners on the corner for Robert. He hit a little duck snort into right field. Sox score another. It's 5-1 White Sox. Another 2-out rally. 3 hits in a row with 2 strikes. Through the 6th inning, Pollock, Vaughn, Robert were 8 for 11 with 3 RBIs and 0 strikeouts. So that's your 1, 2, 3, 8 for 11 with 3 RBIs and 0 strikeouts. Talking about consistency, having these guys get into a rhythm, that was great to see after 6 innings. This is how the top 4 finished on Tuesday night. Pollock was 2 for 5 with a double and 2 RBIs. He was robbed of another one, too. Great play by the left fielder. He could have had another double. Vaughn, 4 for 4 with an RBI. He had a walk as well, so he was on base 5 times. Robert, 2 for 4 with 2 RBIs. And Abreu, 1 for 4 with a walk. The Sox offensive line, they scored 5 runs, had 12 hits, 3 walks, only struck out 4 times. And with runners in scoring position, the White Sox were 5 for 12. Really good seeing the Sox scoring early again. It's been a bit of a pattern for the White Sox, getting on the board, getting their pitcher a little bit of run support, and scoring with 2 outs. How about that stat just from a little bit ago? They strung together 3 hits in a row, and at every point in that, the batter had 2 strikes on them. that can really aggravate a pitcher. Absolutely. And for you to do that and get some consistency going, it's contagious. And there were a couple moments in Wednesday's game where, we had 2 or 3 hits in a row, 4 hits in a row. Again, the home runs aren't there. They're just not there for the White Sox like we thought they were going to be there. It's just not happening. I felt like, years ago, every night it would be a home run. So at least one home run for the Sox, sometimes 2 home runs. And it's not happening that way. We kind of like it. We're singles, some doubles, moving the guys over. That's how we're doing it right now. And again, I think it stems from that consistency. Now, talk about, wanting to get some runs early on the road. It's important because you got your pitcher then coming out and they've already got a little bit of a run support. Now, we didn't tack on runs to the second inning this time, but we kind of needed it because Dylan Cease wasn't as sharp as self, but White Sox pitching was pretty dominant on Tuesday. I'm going to tell you why, despite not having his ace like stuff, Dylan Cease still performed like one. More on that in a moment. Hey, I want to tell you about Athletic Greens. I've been taking AG1, their flagship product, for over 3 weeks now and have noticed improvement in my overall metabolism, better sleep, and I just feel better. So what is this stuff? With one delicious scoop of AG1, you're absorbing 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, whole food sourced superfoods, probiotics to help start your day right. This special blend of ingredients supports your gut health, your nervous system, your immune system, your energy, recovery, focus, and aging. All the things. Athletic Greens has over 7,000 5-star reviews, is recommended by professional athletes, and trusted by leading health experts. It's cheaper than getting all the different supplements yourself. You're investing in an all-in-one nutritional insurance. Right now, it's time to reclaim your health and arm your immune system with convenient daily nutrition. It's just 1 scoop in a cup of water every day. That's it. No need for a million different pills and supplements to look out for your health. To make it easy, Athletic Greens is going to give you a free 1-year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. All you have to do is visit athleticgreens.com/MLB network. Again, that is athleticgreens.com/MLB network to take ownership over your health and pick up the ultimate daily nutritional insurance. BetOnline.net is your #1 source for all your betting stats and sports info. Find all the latest sports developments, news, and odds, including this year's basketball championship matchup, the NHL Hockey Conference Finals, Major League Baseball, and, of course, all the latest fighting news from MMA and UFC to boxing. BetOnline is your continued source for all your sporting wagering information, including live betting, esports, and more. Head to the website today or use your mobile device to learn more about the trends and action. BetOnline, where the game starts. Okay, Dylan Cease was on the mound coming into the game 9-0 against the Detroit Tigers, a lifetime. First inning, he was laboring already. Cease loaded up the bases with 2 outs. Cease and Mendick tried to orchestrate a pickoff at second, and the ball sailed into center. Cease was credited with the error, and it was quickly 2-0 Detroit. Very confusing to want to run a pickoff play with 2 outs. I feel like at every level, whether it's high school or college, most pitching coaches, the philosophy is, hey, we got 2 outs. You focus on that hitter. And we've seen these pickoff moves gone wrong. There've been some successful ones for the White Sox, but more times than not, that ball sails into center, and you got a run scored or a guy goes on to third. So Cease was able to manage himself around that in the game, but that was an odd way to start things. He had 29 pitches in the first inning. Let's go to the 4th inning. He was hitting 99 miles per hour. Still throwing a lot of pitches. got the first two Detroit hitters to strike out. He was at 85 pitches, 7 strikeouts, only 1 walk after 4. Fifth inning, Cease allows the first two Detroit hitters to get on. Nobody out, and he's at 96 pitches. Got a big strikeout then. A nice framing job by Reese McGuire. Boy, he continues to impress, doesn't he? Cease was at 100 pitches, gets a ground ball out. Runners at the corners with nobody out. Gets Baez to fly out to Pollock, so no damage done. So Cease was able to get through 5 innings. He gave up 7 hits, 1 run, 0 earned, 1 walk only, 8 strikeouts, and he threw 108 pitches. His ERA is now 2.91. He labored, but and there was a ton of action on the base paths, but only gave up one walk, and he goes now 10-0 lifetime against the Tigers. Unbelievable. So Dylan Cease has finished with 6 innings once and 7 innings twice. So I guess it's, what's your definition of an ace? I mean, I guess a lot of people think ace, well, this is a guy that's going to go maybe 7 or 8 for you. Consistently have his best stuff. He's the stopper that you want. But I look at Dylan Cease right now, and, you look at the string of games he's putting together where he's not giving up an earned run. You'd like for him to go maybe 6 or 7, especially with the bullpen issues. But I look at it with a guy that didn't have his best stuff, but was still able to grind, battle, and get the job done. So, okay, maybe he didn't have his ace-like stuff, but he kind of performed with it by gutting it out. Lambert came in for 2 innings of work, only gave up 1 hit and had 2 strikeouts. Then we got to see Joe Kelly in the 8th. He looked pretty good. 2 strikeouts in the inning. A highlight was a strikeout to Baez with a 99-mile-an-hour fastball in the outside corner. With what's going on with Liam, we desperately need a healthy and effective Joe Kelly. So that was good to see. And then Ronaldo Lopez, not Lambert. Ronaldo Lopez got the 9th. 2 strikeouts, gave up a hit, but that was it. Lopez has been asked to wear a lot of different hats during this White Sox season, and he's stepped up. He might not always have the sharpest stuff, but he's been an opener. He's been in middle relief. Now he's coming in the 9th. So, again, if he could stay healthy, we need all the arms we can get. Sox pitching only giving up 1 run, 14 strikeouts, and just 1 walk. That was impressive. Wednesday, it's an afternoon start, 12:10 Chicago time. Like we had mentioned, expecting Vince Velasquez to go. He has a 2-3 record with an ERA of 5.30 and 33 strikeouts in 8 appearances this season. Hey, thanks for making this podcast part of your daily routine. You can find the Locked On White Sox podcast absolutely everywhere you find your podcasts. We are on Twitter and Instagram at Locked On Sox, and you can find me on Twitter at Nick_GGTB. Thanks for making Locked On White Sox your first listen. Now make your second listen Locked On MLB. Paul Francis Sullivan, just call him Sully, brings you his unique perspective on the major leagues past and present. It's free and available wherever you get your podcasts. Coming up on the next episode, I'll hopefully be breaking down a White Sox winner and a sweep of the Detroit Tigers. Really appreciate you making time for the Locked On White Sox podcast. I'm Nick Morawski. Until next time, go Sox.